God's awakenings. Let's rise together.
Laid bare shadows collide, hidden truths in the tide, a spark in the dark, it glows. Illuminate, illuminate, through the fog the stars awake. Illuminate, illuminate the path you seek, the steps you take. Thunder rolls, whispers rise, the deck unfolds, no disguise. Light cracks the veil, it shows what's unseen now inside. What's unseen now inside. What's unknown now ignite. Illuminate, illuminate, through the fog the stars awake. Illuminate, illuminate the path you seek, the steps you take.
Good morning, everyone. I am remembering to unmute and get us on the radio this morning. Hey, we did it. Happy Friday. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Micah. That is a damn good looking opening. You did a great job. Micah did that. He did a fantastic job. All right, so it's time to get into it. And unfortunately, we're going to see a lot of the same cards today. But we'll see where it goes. In the end, it's going to get better. Hi, Mish. I'm so glad you're here. All right, let me pull up my notes so we can get started today. All right, this whole reading today is kind of about power dynamics and choosing integrity over chemistry. What comes up first for us is the Seven of Swords. This is in the what's really going on position. The imagery and symbolism in this card is a figure sneaking away from a camp carrying 5 swords, glancing over their shoulder. 2 swords remain behind. This is unfinished business, truths not fully taken, or guilt that lingers. This card is about deception, avoidance, strategic dishonesty, and sometimes self-deception. Someone in this connection that you're in has not been fully honest, either with you or with themselves. This can be emotional dishonesty, mixed intentions, someone wanting the benefits of intimacy without the accountability, or you quietly knowing the truth but not confronting it. This is not always malicious cheating. It can be withholding, breadcrumbing, or emotional evasiveness. In our second position, this is... Oh, no, you know what? I forgot to finish. The shadow aspects of that card. We're still on. I'm just trying to rush things this morning. Shadow aspects of this card. Stop avoiding hard conversations and romanticizing red flags. Remember to ask yourself, what truth have I been sensing but avoiding naming? Where am I compromising my integrity to maintain this connection? And what would honesty cost me? And what would it give me? All right, now we can move on to the next card. The next card in the position of your influencing energy is the King of Wands, sorry. The King of Wands sits confidently with a blossoming wand. The salamanders surrounding him are symbols of fire and passion. He is charismatic, visionary, and magnetic, but also restless. This person is passionate, confident. The sexual chemistry is strong. They're inspiring, but they're also inconsistent. They lead with desire and inspiration, not emotional containment. Let's not start the morning off this way. Not emotional containment. They want freedom, admiration, and excitement. This person is also ego driven. They avoid emotional vulnerability and tend to chase intensity instead of intimacy. Are you attracted to their potential or their consistency? Do their actions actually match their passion-filled words? And how do I feel after interactions with them? Happy or confused and drained? Breathe. You know what I forgot? I forgot the sage this morning. That's what the problem is. All right. In the third position. Slow down, Gary. In your past influence, we have the Hermit. The elder holds a lantern containing a six-pointed star representing inner wisdom and soul truth. He stands alone, but not lonely. You've already done the deep inner soul work. This connection was likely followed by a period of healing, emotional withdrawal, spiritual awakening, or choosing solitude over chaos. Okay. It challenges, sorry, I'm talking to the chat at the same time. It challenges whether or not you'll abandon that hard-won peace. Be careful of isolation, turning into emotional walls and feeling safer alone than vulnerable with others. What did solitude teach you about your worth? Will you enter a new connection from wholeness or hunger? And what part of you refuses to dim its light now? Hopefully, most of it. All right. In the challenge or the block position, we have the High Priestess reversed. Normally, she guards sacred knowledge between light and dark pillars. The veil is distorted and intuition is ignored, doubted, or overridden when it's in reverse. You already know what's going on, but you're questioning yourself. Outside voices, hope, or fear are louder than your inner truth. You're not listening to that intuition again. Watch over yourself for gaslighting. There it is. There's the word. I know Mike is happy now. No. There's our weekly theme. It's been coming since Monday. Here's the gaslighting. Watch over yourself for gaslighting, whether external or self-inflicted. Don't intellectualize your emotional knowing. And don't give others access to your intuition instead of trusting yourself. Ask yourself, when did I first sense something was off? What am I afraid will happen if I trust myself fully? And whose voice am I prioritizing over my own? All right, the next card. In the position of what you want, we have the Lovers. A divine union overseen by an angel. This is choice, alignment, and soul resonance. You want true partnership, not confusion. This isn't about passion alone. It's about shared values, mutual choice, and emotional honesty. This card says love is a decision, not just chemistry. Stop confusing intensity with destiny and staying because it feels karmic instead of healthy. What does aligned love look like for you now? Where have you mistaken longing for compatibility? Choose love over chasing validation. All right. In the near future, we have the sun. In the normal rider weight, a child rides freely under a radiant sun, speaking of truth, joy, and exposure. Everything now comes into the light. Secrets dissolve. You gain clarity, confidence, and emotional warmth with or without this person. This is a liberation card. There will be temporary discomforts as illusions burn away, and truth may end the fantasy, but it restores your joy. What would emotional freedom actually feel like? What truth would actually bring me relief? You need to ask yourself that. And ask yourself, where am I ready to be fully seen? In the next position, we have advice from spirit. This is death. Skeleton rides forward to inevitable endings, rebirth, and transformation. Something must end to allow real love to begin. This could be a particular connection, a pattern, or a version of yourself who accepts less. You have a fear of endings and may be clinging to familiarity over growth. Ask yourself, what are you being asked to release? What do you become when you stop tolerating this dynamic? And what is waiting on the other side of this ending? Because this is an ending. In the next position, your external influence. We have the Seven of Wands again. A figure standing their ground against the challengers below. You're being tested to defend your standards. Others may push back when you stop overgiving. You need to rest from the exhaustion from always having to prove yourself. Be cautious of your fear of being too much. Asking for what you need in a relationship is not too much. What boundaries feel negotiable for you now? Where are you still explaining instead of enforcing them? And what are you worth standing firm for? In the position of hopes and fears, you have the Emperor. A ruler seated on stone represents authority, structure, and protection. You crave stability, safety, and emotional leadership, but also fear, control, or rigidity. Caution yourself against attracting dominant partners instead of grounded ones. And don't confuse control with security. What does a healthy masculine energy mean to you? Where do you need more structure and love? And are you honoring your own authority? In our outcome position, we have the King of Swords. This is a clear-eyed king with raised sword, standing for truth, boundaries, and discernment. You finally choose clarity over confusion. Emotional intelligence meets mental sharpness. This may represent you stepping fully into self-trust or attracting a partner who communicates honestly and consistently for a change. Don't allow emotional detachments if your wounds remain unhealed, and try using logic to avoid feeling. Or trying to use logic. Let me say that whole sentence again. Don't allow emotional detachment if your wounds remain unhealed, or try using logic to avoid feeling. Ask yourself, what truth am I ready to live by? How can I speak my needs without apology? What does emotional maturity actually look like in action? This reading tells the story of outgrowing a seductive but misaligned connection. You started from wisdom, entered a dynamic marked by charisma but inconsistency, and were challenged to trust your intuition even when emotions blurred it. The Lovers asks you to choose alignment over attraction. The Sun exposes the truth. Death demands release, and the Emperor and King of Swords restore sovereignty, boundaries, and clarity. This isn't about losing love. It's about choosing the kind of love that doesn't cost you yourself. All right. We're kind of getting the same messages still. This is when I want to play Michael right now. Go, are you listening? But then I'd have to hit myself in the head too and go, are you listening? Because I know we're all there. But what we have coming up for our homework today is going to be our help. Today we have the Empress. The Empress is divine feminine in form. Now, guys, that are listening understand that this can be energies. This is an energy. Tarot cards are not about male or female, they're about masculine and feminine energies. Men can have Empress energy too, and you need to have Empress. You need to align both parts of the masculine and feminine within you to be a whole person. All right, so that being said, the Empress is divine feminine form. She is creation before effort, worth before proving, love before chasing. Where the emperor builds, the empress receives. Where others strive, she allows. Where insecurity asks, she attracts. All right, let's take a look at this card real quick, because the empress, through her symbols, communicates sensation and feeling, not logic. The crown of stars she wears is a crown of 12 stars, representing the zodiac, cycles, cosmic timing, alignment with natural law. This tells us nothing meant for her arrives early or late. Everything comes when she's ready to receive it, not before or not later. The field of wheat at her feet. There is a field of wheat at her feet. It grows ripe effortlessly. This symbolizes abundance without force, fertility, both creative, emotional, spiritual, but not just physical. This is what happens when nourishment is consistent. This is earned abundance through self-respect and not suffering. The heart-shaped shield she carries bears a symbol of Venus. This is critical in love. It means love is her protection, not her weakness. She does not harden to survive. She remains open because she is safe within herself. The forest and flowing river and nature surrounds her in lush, alive, and moving moments. This means emotions are meant to flow, not be suppressed. Desire is sacred. Sensuality is intelligence. The Empress does not cut herself off from feeling just to stay safe. Her throne, or actually the lack of one, shows that unlike the Emperor, her throne bends into the earth. She is not elevated above life. She is embedded within it. The Empress says you do not need to become more lovable. You need to stop abandoning yourself. She represents secure attachment, emotional availability, receptivity without desperation, and magnetism rooted in self-worth. Love comes towards her. She does not chase it. She allows herself to be chosen because she chooses herself first. Yes, though, even the divine feminine does have a shadow side. The shadow empress energy has a tendency toward mothering partners, over nurturing people who give nothing back, and confusing care with obligation. This is wounded feminine conditioning, not true empress power. She has a tendency toward losing herself in love. She needs to remember that she can forget her own needs when her worth is tied to being needed. She fears abandonment, or she was taught that love must be earned through sacrifice. She can lean towards using beauty or warmth or for validation instead of the embodiment. She may seek approval, tied desirably to safety, or feel invisible when not chosen. Even upright, the Empress can show imbalance. This can indicate burnout from overgiving, emotional depletion, disconnection from body or pleasure, creative or romantic stagnation. In love, this often shows as I give and somehow always end up empty. The Empress does the Empress, when she has attachment wounds, I can't speak this morning. I don't know what is going on. All right, this card frequently appears when someone is healing from anxious attachment, people pleasing, love addiction, or scarcity-based relationships. The lesson is nurture yourself the way you wish to be loved. The nervous system must feel safe before aligned love can stay. The Empress ends generational patterns. She stops the choosing emotionally unavailable partners, repeating abandonment cycles, and romanticizing struggle. She says, I will no longer bond through pain. I bond through presence. Ask yourself, where do I still believe love must be earned? What would change if I assumed I was already enough? And you don't need to assume that. You need to know that. You are enough. What am I afraid would happen if I stopped overgiving? How do you treat your body when no one is watching? What sensations make you feel most alive? And where have you disconnected from pleasure just to stay safe? Who benefits when you minimize your needs? And what does mutual nourishment actually look like to you? What do you feel in relationships where you are not needed? I want you to say these things to yourself. There's a few of them, but tell them yourself. Let them land in your body and in your mind and in your heart. I am worthy of love without effort. I receive as deeply as I give. My softness is safe. I do not chase what is meant to come to me. Love meets me where I am. I allow myself to be chosen. If the Empress were sitting across from you, she would say, rest, feel, nourish yourself first. Love that costs your peace is not love. She does not ask you to try harder. She asks you to come home to yourself. When this card appears as the outcome or in your homework, you are starting to attract healthier partners. Emotional reciprocity becomes normal. You stop settling for potential. Love feels safe, warm, and expansive. You become someone who receives love naturally because your energy no longer begs for it. The Empress is not about getting love. She is about becoming the place where love wants to stay. And once you embody her, you will never again confuse intensity for intimacy or sacrifice for devotion. All right. Time to chat, huh? We are getting basically the same information every week, and it's because we're not listening. We're not learning. And I, for one, am the biggest one that needs to listen. Relationships ending is painful. It's not easy. But the problem becomes when we sit around after the fact and think, what can I do to fix this? When are they going to contact me? Are they going to contact me? They kind of owe me an apology, so I'm expecting an apology. But here's the problem. Those are your expectations. They're not theirs. And even if someone truly does owe you an apology, if they were not that nice to you, that doesn't mean that they feel the same way. They may not realize it. They may not care. It's time for you to think about you. You need to focus on your healing. You need to focus on the fact that the relationship was not what you envisioned it in your mind to begin with. You had expectations, but they weren't their expectations. The only person that you can change is yourself. You can hope someone might change or see the error of their ways or see that they've hurt you or bring you an apology or know that they should, but you can't force them to. They might just be happy with the way they are. And if they're happy with that person and that person hurt you time and time again, why would you want that back in your life? Why on earth would you invite that chaos, that wondering, that gaslighting, that sitting around trying to figure out what the hell's going on here, that constant feeling like you're walking on eggshells, and the non-stop stressing because you're giving and giving and giving to someone who not only doesn't appreciate it, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve the type of love that you have to give if they're not willing to reciprocate it. And you can't make them want to. And yes, they may have things that they do need to look at. They need to realize that they continue to hurt people time and time and time again with their behavior, because they choose not to look at themselves and see that their behavior is hurtful and harmful, or to look inside themselves and see why they do it in the first place. Now, in the case of a narcissist or whatever that doesn't even realize that they could potentially ever do anything wrong, you're definitely not going to get an apology. You're definitely not going to get a true, honest anything from them. And if you're sitting around waiting for them to show back up with those apologies, the narcissist is just love bombing you. If it's not a narcissist, if it's something, it's another situation of an avoidant or just someone who, a player or whatever they are, if they do come back with an apology, is it sincere? If they ever came back, because I know for a lot of people, you after a breakup, especially if you weren't the one who did the breaking up, if you're sitting there waiting for them to come back to you with an apology and with the desire to rekindle the relationship, are you thinking smart right now? Do you want to go back to the way things were? Because it's just going to cycle back again. If you haven't healed and they haven't healed, it's just going to be the same thing. And it's just going to end again. And if you're the only one that's healed, then you're going to know better. You're not going to want that back. You're going to get past this pain that you feel on a daily basis of, why did they leave me? What did I, because it wasn't you. People will tell you all the time, this is just who I am. I can't change who I am. So if you can't, if I'm not good enough for you, then it's over, whatever. That's bullshit. They can change. They don't want to. You can't make them. They have to want to do it. And I know right now you want to do the healing because you don't want to feel this way anymore. So remember, you don't deserve to be treated that way. That ending was for your benefit, so that you could sit in this Empress place, so that you could sit in the Empress energy and know that you deserve better. And know that if they did walk back in that door and you're healed, you can say, no, thank you. I'm good without that. I don't need that chaos in my life anymore. Someday they may heal. But you got what we don't stop and think about is they have to, number one, they have to even recognize that there's an issue. They have to want to change that issue. And if they want to change that issue, then they have to face the same hurt and pain and demons and everything that you've faced in your healing process. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They'd rather just continue on the way they are. Yeah, it's fucking sad that they continue to hurt people time and time and time again, and I feel sorry for anyone in their future if they don't do the healing. But let it go. Don't let them love bomb, gaslight, bullshit you into trying again unless they've gone through the healing process. And you'll know almost immediately if they've done it. If they turn around next week and, a week after you break up and show up at your door, you know damn well they haven't healed, because you haven't either. Take the time that you need to get back to loving yourself and to knowing without a doubt that you will never accept breadcrumbing bullshit again. If you want true, honest love in your life, you can find it inside yourself. And once you do, and once you become that empress, and once you start that glow, you will attract the same type of people, the type of people that themselves are glowing, that themselves are healed, that won't treat you like crap, that will give as much to you as you give to them. And that's what we want. That's what we need. And that's what we deserve. I know it's hard. I know it's painful. I know you still feel that love and that hope. But you cannot change who they are. Only they can change who they are. And only if they actually want to. No amount of you giving or loving or wishing or hoping is going to make them come to that conclusion. It's just not. It's time to love you like I love you. All right, we are going to get Micah a soul truth for the week. Mish, I know you're in the chat room if you would like a soul truth. And now we'll get us our soul meditation for the week. Oh, that must be Micah's. To where does my soul want to travel? We grow. We open up our little world to more adventure, thrills, patience, understanding, trust, and oneness. Our hearts and minds expand and our desires are satisfied. Where is your soul calling you to visit? This is kind of bizarre. Anyway, pick a location on your desired list. Choose a date when you will get there. Valentine's Day? And start planning now. Create a Pinterest board or start searching on travel sites for the best restaurants. Anything that will create movement to let the universe know you are ready to make it happen. Believe you can. I think February would be a great time to stop in Tennessee, too. Anywho. All right, Mish. Soul truth for today. Mike and I were just talking about him traveling to see his parents yesterday, so it's kind of bizarre that came up. That was a lot of them. You get the first one. The eat shit face you just got. Hey, it was the card, not me. Hey, Mish, who can I serve today? In a world lacking soul-to-soul connection, small and simple acts are what create the biggest and most lasting impact. We shift our own pain and experience an avalanche of love when we lose ourselves in the service of others. Who needs you today? Listen to your heart. Who needs you? Make one soulful connection today and give solely to spread more love, expecting nothing in return. Notice the joy that you feel when you serve others. He can give me an eat shit. He gives me eat shit faces all the time, but he knows damn well that damn card just came out perfect timing. And just as this did. This is, yeah. What is the tagline for the core now? You can't make this shit up. No, you can't make it up in here either. May you know healing. I want to grab the book and I want to actually read this one. All right. May you know healing. I can spell. They're in alphabetical order. It should be easy for me to find, right? All right. May you know healing. I love that this came out. May you know the power of this process. May you embrace it and let it do its job. We are constantly being reborn. New cells are being formed constantly. You will literally not be the same person from one moment to the next. We are also always healing, whether it's emotionally or physically. Stress can mask that, but ask yourself what you need to heal from. What can aid in that healing, and what small steps can you take every day toward healing yourself to heal into wholeness? It's time. It's time when praying something happens. Because it's not really what you want in the first place. Because unless they too are fully healed and fully processed through all that healing and karma and everything else that they're going to have to go through, you don't want it back. You don't want to go through it again. It didn't work the first time. In some cases, the second time or the third time. It's not going to work. Not until both have healed. That was our confirmation right there. All right. Actually, that was a message to something I posted on Facebook. But what she said came in perfect timing because it said, that is so true, Carrie. Can't make this shit up. It all happens for a reason. All right, guys. The gaslighting is over. Let's hope that next week we're on to something new. We'll see what the topic of the week will be because it seems to just flow. Let's see what is coming up. I don't know if there is any voices on the rise tonight or not. I know it got postponed from last week, and now I can't even remember who it was. Way to go, Carrie. But I know that next week, the Messengers will be at its normal time. Brindle's Vision will be at its normal time. The Core will be on Wednesday instead of Thursday at 11. And then also, that's right, if she can get the music, Hell's Bells. Yeah, we've come across some issues with how we get our music for the shows, which could be a big mess. So if she can get the music, it'll be Princess Hell's Bells tonight. But we shall see. So as I was saying, there's a Christmas special at 7. That's tonight? I'm waiting for him to answer. I know there's a delay. But while he's saying that, then while I'm waiting for an answer on that, when that Christmas special is with tonight at 7 p.m. there's a Christmas special on Rise Radio with Andrew Cherry. That should be fun. So show up for that. So as I was saying, the Core will be on Wednesday. Phoenix Talks will be, Thursday. Yes. What? No. Golly. Now I'm so confused. The Core will be on Wednesday instead of Thursday at 11 a.m. Phoenix Talks will air Wednesday at 6 p.m. Everyone's off, I believe, on Christmas Day. I will be back next Friday, the day after Christmas, right here, talking about something different. Let's hope. I love you all so much. I really, really do. And I really want us all to heal together and I want to get the readings to where we come in here someday And they're all about how happy we are in our lives. Whether they're with someone else, without someone else, whatever. I want these cards to change. And I know you do too. So let's do the work. And Phoenix Talks, Micah mentioned, is about presence in the present. Which is a good idea. That is perfect. We need to be present. All right, guys. I love you. I will see you soon. Have a great weekend. And be good to yourselves. You deserve it. How do I get out of here? I can't find the scenes, Mike. Oh, there we go. All right, guys.
What's unseen now inside? What's unknown now ignite? Illuminate, illuminate through the fog, the stars away. Illuminate, illuminate the path you seek, the steps you take.
Hey, this is Brindle Wolf.
And I'm Lunaria.
You're listening to Rise Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action.
We're here to spark your growth, lift your spirit, and help you crush your potential.
Rise awakening, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken in life. Rise awakening, now is the time.
Rise Awakenings. Let's rise together.